Hello guys, welcome to Selenium training by Wisdom Trainings. And today in this video we will learn about object identification. If you have any doubt regarding the course or the video, you may drop your doubts over in the Speak Your Mind section at the site. Now moving further, now let's just take a look at what object can be. So if I'll go to any of the page, so over here you can see that on the Google I have a search already made and it's showing me the output. So even if I talk about object, this is also an object. This Google image, this search box is an image. These tags are different objects and elements. Everything that is available on the web page, they all are the objects. If they are the static keywords also, then also they are considered as the objects. Okay. Now if I talk about all the objects that we can have on a web page, what mostly of them can be. So if I'll go to a page, let's say facebook.com, and over at this page, just a minute, over at this page you can see that I have an image as well. This is my image, this is my static text, right? This is also my static text. These are some of the text boxes in which I can put some data. This is my combo box or drop down, you can say, right? These are my radio buttons, my button, and some static data along with a link. There is a link as well. So there are many type of elements that you can find on a web page. We'll discuss them all one by one. And to start with, I'll create an Excel sheet to demonstrate you everything about it, that which objects are available and by which tag name and which input tag is available on it. So by that you will understand that how it's different. Okay, so will make a tabular form of data. I'll say the object, my object names will be over here in this object column. Then I'll have the tag name, that on the web page by which tag name they are available with. Okay, then I have the mandatory attributes. Okay, and then the optional attributes. Okay, now here my table is ready. I just need to go through the data so that I can find what elements are available on the web page. Okay, so if I'll go back to the page over here, you can see this is a text box, right? So text box, simple text, then I have a drop down, radio button, image. So I'll go over here and I write the object name first. I have the text box, right? Then I have the text as well. Then I have radio button. Then there is a simple button. Okay, there is link as well. We have seen link, right? Image. And also these are the main elements. Also there can be a checkbox as well, right? These are some of the main elements that you will find on every of the web page. Okay, now we start discussing one by one that all these attributes are available on the web page by which tag name and which are the mandatory attributes that it needs to have. Okay, so I'll go back and I'll firstly look for the text box. Go back over here. When I have to extract or look for an element, I'll just right click on that and I'll go to the last option, inspect. By clicking on that, a new window will be opened. Okay, now I've clicked on this text box. After clicking on it, this window opened and over here there is some highlighted text. And when I have my cursor over this highlighted text, at the background you can see email is being highlighted. You can see. So that means this is what is related to this text box. All these informations will be. So if we look into that what are the informations over here. So let me just, over here you can see that it is having an input type. Input type, that means I am giving some input. This page will be taking some input from the user. So that's why the tag is input. Okay. Along with that, the type. This type is a mandatory attribute. This type will help you to know what kind of element is this. Right now it's mentioned as email. I'll show you that in another sites it's mentioned as text, because over here I'm expecting some text, right? I'm not expecting any button or any click. I'm expecting some text. Okay. Same way you can see over here there are another attributes, that is name, ID, data test ID. So which are the compulsory one and which are the optional one? We'll write it in the Excel sheet. Text box, we have seen the tag name, right? That is the input tag, informing you that the web page will expect some input. And what is the type of that input? That is the mandatory attribute. It will provide you the type. Mostly cases and mostly websites keep it as text. Over here on Facebook it is mentioned in email. I'll show you where how it's displayed as text. Okay. So to check with the text, I'll go to another site. Let's say Rediff. Okay. Just wait for a while. Now I'll go over here on the sign in option. Now over here I'm on the sign in page and I'll click on this text box now. In same way I'll inspect for this element. It got highlighted and over here you can see in the input it shows text. Okay. Likewise over here if I have some checkbox as well and I want to see what is the type of that. So it says checkbox. Like so I'll show you all of the elements, that what is the text to all. Over here on my Facebook there was no checkbox. So checkbox also we get to know that what can be the mandatory attribute for this. So I'll go to my Excel sheet and I'll say we have seen this, right? For radio, but for checkbox, input tag is the compulsory one. Sorry, it's the tag name, and the mandatory attribute is the type. And in the type, what type of element it is, that is mentioned. It's checkbox, so checkbox is available over here. Okay. Now when I talk about the radio buttons, so I'll go back over here on the web page and I'll inspect it. And same way as like text, the tag name is input and the type is radio, since this is a radio button. Okay. So if I'll go to the input tag, input, and I'll say type is equals to radio. This is my mandatory attribute. When I talk about button, or before going to the button, let's just talk about the link. Okay. Wait a minute. Now this is my link, right? The forgotten account. So I'll click on it and I'll inspect it. Now you can see that it's not having the input tag over here because the link is to route you to some another page. So this is having an anchor tag. This is the tag name A, anchor tag, and the mandatory attribute is this href. This will help you to specify that after clicking on this link to which page it needs to route. Okay, so the tag name for link is A and the mandatory attribute is href. Now let's just talk about the image tag. Okay, I'll go back over here and this is my image, right? So I'll right click over here and you can see the input tag over here is the img keyword that defines that this is an image, and the mandatory attribute is this src. Now this src will help you to specify that where this image is lying. Okay, you can give the path of the image. So I'll go back and I'll mention it that the input tag is img and the mandatory attribute is src. Now let's talk about the button, the normal button. This is my button, these are my button. These are my two different buttons, right? So I'll right click on it to inspect it. And over here you can see it has the input tag and the type is submit. There are some another tags, but I'm searching for the type, which is my mandatory attribute, type, which is having submit. Okay. Likewise, if I'll go over here and I'll search for another button, that what is the name of that, so I'll click on it, and when I go to over here you can see it's also a button, but over here The tag name is, now when we talk about tag names, the tag names are different. So when we talk about buttons, the tag names can be two, but the type is same for both. It's submit over here and it's submit for the login as well. Why? Because this is a kind of form that we are filling, right? So it's collecting the data and will be taking it along. So it's a submission button. So I can say that the tag name I have for button can be input or it can be button as well. Okay. So the type we have seen is the submit. So I'll say submit and done. Now we are only left with this text, the static text that is already available while writing with the page, right? This is the text that is already mentioned in the site. So if I'll inspect any of the text which I can see, so you can see it has a span tag. It's a create account text. It has a span tag. Likewise, if I search for others and I'll click for this, so this Facebook helps you connect. This statement is having a div class. This is a division. Okay. Also, if I talk about this Facebook, the heading over here, that is in the I tag. Okay. I'll show you all of the text that is available on this page. Then it's have a quick and easy, which is having a div class. You can see div class. And the rest I have is this policy clicking option. So if I'll see that, that's inside a paragraph tag. You can see by clicking on, it's all inside a paragraph text. So we have seen that as many as text are available, they can be of any type. There cannot be a specified tag for them. It can have span, it can have a division, it can have a I tag, P tag, or many other tags. And being text, it does not require any mandatory attribute. You just need to give the data which you want to show on your website. Okay, so it's having no compulsory, the mandatory attributes. Now when I talk about the optional attributes, so if I'll go over here in the inspect box and I'll just go over here at this text box or this text box, you can see that this text box is having a name, an ID, and sometimes it also has some class, like this division is having a class. These attributes can also have a class as well. Here it is the class, name and ID. These three are the optional one. Some of the elements can have three of the optional attributes. Some can have one, some can have two, and some can have no of them. Okay, so what are the optional attributes? Class, name, and ID. Okay, so this is applicable on all the elements that we find on a web page. So I'll copy it from here and I'll paste it over all these. Okay, so whenever you'll see any of the element, if you'll say any of the web page and you try to inspect it, by using this information you can get to understand that which type of element you are going to extract, right? Now for example, I need to use this ID, and how I can use this ID with my Selenium. So how I can do that? Let's just take a look at that. Okay, this is my page and over here I want to use this text box. I'll do it. Okay, now I want to use it with my Selenium code and I want to use it in my code to put some text inside. Okay, so how I can do that? From the very beginning we are working with the, so from when we have started working with Selenium, we have seen that we are using an interface WebDriver. We have talked about this WebDriver, right? That what is a WebDriver? It is an interface. Now when we talk about this interface is way more than enough while you are working with any of the web browser. Okay, it can have Chrome, Firefox, Mozilla, Internet Explorer, Safari, Opera, all of them. And our websites, all the websites that we talk about, they all can work on all the websites, right? Over here, on all the URLs, my websites can work. And when I talk about websites, there is WebElement as well, right? There are web elements with all of the websites. Now when I can work with web browsers using this WebDriver, this WebDriver interface has more than enough generic functions which can be used with all the elements that are available on the web page, and it can perform all the actions that you want on a web page to be happening. Okay, so all the things that you want to work with the web elements, you want to enter some text, you want to click on it, right? If I'll say I want to type some text, I want to get some click, I want to clear already mentioned text, or I want to get the screenshots, retrieving links. See, these all functions can be done by using the WebDriver only. Okay, so this is the connection that you can create while working with web elements. Now we'll see how we can actually use the web elements with the WebDriver. Okay, so I'm here in my Eclipse, and to demonstrate the use of the web elements by using WebDriver Selenium, how I can do that. So I'll make a package, let's say module 18. Okay, and inside that I'll make a new module by the name Object Identification. Okay, now I'm done with this. I'll start working with my object identification. To start with, first of all, I need to create an object of my interface, that is WebDriver. So I'll say driver is equals to WebDriver dot Chrome. If you want any other browser, you can use it. I'll say Chrome, and over in this Chrome I want to go to the URL, and let me say that this is my URL. I'll paste it over here. Now if I say that I want to work with this element, this particular element, so how I can do that? I just need to know some of the information about it. I can use the name, ID, class, anything, right? So I'll prefer using the ID now, and I'll copy it from here, and I'll go back to my Eclipse. I'll say driver dot find element. Now when we talk about find element, this is a proper created functions which can work with all the attributes by which you can identify the elements. You can use the class name, CSS selector, ID, link text, name, partial link, XPath. Even if you have to retrieve not more than one element, then you can use this elements. The same functions, same attributes are available in the elements as well. Now I'm working with ID, so I'll say find element by ID, and I'll give the ID. Okay, now I have extracted my element. I need to give some text inside it. So how I can do it? I'll say send keys. So you can see that just by extracting this element, I have this much options available to work with. I can take the screenshot of it. I can check is it displayed or not, is it selected or not. Then I can get the attribute name, right? So this is so much enough to work with any of the elements on the web page. So I'll give the text, I'll say hello, and I'll simply will save this code, and I'll run this. Python run. Okay, so it went to the URL that I have given. It will wait for the page to load. So now you can see that the page has been loaded properly, and over here in this text box the hello has been entered. Okay, this you can see how easy it is to extract any element by using the attributes, the compulsory, the optional attributes, and how you can just enter some text. Okay, we'll be discussing more about the object identification in the coming videos. Till the time, do practice, and thank you.